Good afternoon. It is April 22nd, 2022. And today we had a downtrend day, as you can see, to follow yesterday. So not really much to it. You could find this trend even easier than yesterday's. But these short-term trends are what really kept you on the right side of things. So early on, I think this is right at 5 o'clock. You get this first entry, failed second entry, but unfortunately it doesn't take higher right away right here. And then you get this bearish bar. And if you're feeling aggressive, I just don't like how congested this is at this point. But that is a failure. So you might take that, and then it makes this triple top up here. And then you get a first entry. Okay, this failure is right here, but it doesn't trigger until right here. So I kind of like that. Even though it's a little far from the EMA, just to take it back down here, and eventually it gets there, but yeah, you don't. If you put a runner down there, you would have probably got stopped out. Then we kind of just go sideways, and then we break lower, make a lower high, make another lower high. So that's a failure right there. Again, not at the EMA. However, that looks like it's off a short-term trend channel. So that is definitely worth considering, and that is a nice move. This is all too far from the EMA. We get a first entry, second entry short. I'm liking that. We're making new lows right after the open, so that tells you that we're probably in a downtrend day. It does bounce, however, and so that is probably your hint right here. Well, that would be 2 legs up of correction, but you might think like, okay, well, maybe that's 1 leg up, and these 2 legs are like 1 leg, and we'll get 2 more legs up, and that's exactly what happened. So people who got long right here, they would have scalped out, but I don't know. I'm a little. This looks pretty darn good. I'm gonna have to mark this aggressive because at this point it is a little unclear. The market just opened. We did make a nice leg down, but you might be thinking, oh no, it's going to be a range day. But anyway, we correct, and then we make 2 attempts at a new low, but that fails. So I guess they bring it higher, and you get the second entry short right here. That looks pretty good to me with all that room back to the EMA, but if you're patient, you get a failure that's above the EMA, but then you get a lower high. So you might consider that because this does look like it's off a trend channel, and that begins the pretty violent downtrend that lasted the rest of the day. So we form this congestion, and you get a first entry, second entry. I actually got trapped right here, so let's take a look at this. This is a second entry. Someone pointed out that I might have this trend channel drawn incorrectly, which, yeah, it could be off of that. And that looks pretty accurate too. I think they both look very accurate, to be honest. But yeah, this helps you out. You get this congestion that breaks the channel, and you get a new low. And I think really, I mean, that does help. But I think really what I should have been looking at was this short-term trend channel. And it's not a lower high. I was playing this like a range, and I didn't take the lower high. This is a lower high, and it's not a great setup, but even that would have worked. So first entry, failed second entry. I like this, to be honest. I'm going to be honest. I like that. And it gets you a scalp, but that's it. And I don't know, people who are picking bottoms might have picked this. I wouldn't take this, but this does kind of look like first entry, second entry, so you might enter there. But you do get a first, second entry right here, and that's confirms this trend channel. Well, it got confirmed right here, and you get a lower high. That's also a second entry. This failure sets up really well, but it's counter trend, so. First entry, failed second entry long. This looks like a similar trade to something we saw yesterday. It's not a new, it's actually a higher high, but there's room back to the EMA. It just looks good. Then we form this spike and channel down, and that actually spikes and channels down. So I think you probably could have taken something like that. This is just, I don't know, you're just overdue for a correction. So, I mean, you know, here we came off the EMA, but here we like made a flatter channel. I don't know. It's just not the greatest setup. Here we get a second entry short off the EMA after a break of this channel. I like that. It looks like one leg up, correction, new high. And we get this leg of correction, but at this point, I definitely don't think you should be going long. First entry, failed second entry. I like that. Closes very well, very strong. Here you get a first entry, second entry short. First entry, failed second entry long. That is also a second entry short. That's a great setup. And this looks like a second entry short. So you get a leg up. First entry, looks like a break, move to a new high. Second entry, it's just that the signal bar is no good. And then we start this strong trend. First entry, failed second entry. And then you get a second entry short right here. And there's a lot of setups. This is just the first entry right here. You got a first entry, second entry right here. So actually, this one looks a little more aggressive, but I don't know. I think you have to take that. That's a second entry short, and this one's a failure. So 2 entries right there. You might have taken this lower high, and that's all I saw there. I don't like this. This looks like kind of like a second entry short, but the signal bar is no good. You get a leg of correction, and we didn't make a measured leg up. So usually that tells you something. And first, technically this is a failure, and on a day like today, maybe you would consider that, but it doesn't really look that good. And now here we correct, and you get a first entry, second entry, and that takes us into the close. So that's what I saw today. I'll be back next week. I hope everyone had a great week, and I'll be back on Monday.